Hi, I am Gisela Sosa and we are Team 3. In this work, we are going to talk about the environmental problem known as pollution. We are going to talk about what is pollution, the causes of pollution, examples of pollution like soil pollution, and some solutions for this problem. To introduce a little bit, now I'm going to explain just the most general aspects of this topic. Pollution is the introduction of harmful materials into the environment. These harmful materials are called pollutants. Pollutants can be made by natural or they can be made by human activity. And pollutants damage the quality of air, water, and land. Next, we are going to talk more specific aspects of this environmental problem.
Hello, I'm Mauro Pedraza, and today we're gonna learn about the topic of pollution, which since the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century, this phenomenon has been accentuated. The pollution is the presence and accumulation of external components that may be physical, chemical, or biological origin, which affects the health of natural ecosystems by being harmful for the living beings. Now, what's the pollutants? The pollutants are the toxic substances and environmental conditions whom alter the origin conditions of ecosystems and damage organisms, decreasing their performance and sometimes causing their deaths. But you could ask now, what are the causes of pollutions? Well, the mostly causes of pollutions are that cars spew pollutants from the exhaust pipes, burning coals to create electricity pollutes the air, industries and homes generate garbage and sewage that can pollute the land and the water, and pesticides and poisons used to kill weeds and insects seeps into waterways and harm wildlife. Now we're gonna see some examples or an example of pollution. In the past, visitors to the Big Bend National Park in the US in the state of Texas could see 908 kilometers or 180 miles across the vast landscape. Now, coal burning power plants in Texas and the state of Chihuahua in Mexico have spilled so much pollution into the air that the visitors to the Big Bend can sometimes only see 50 kilometers or 30 miles. This is something very amazing, something we have to consider because in the past you have a higher view and now you have a less one. That's something very incredible, but that's it. That's the only I have to say. That's my part, and let's continue with my other classmates.
Hello, my name is Bruno. I will talk about the soil pollution. First, the soil pollution consists of the accumulation of toxic substance and component in the soil, which have the effect of degrading their quality. Can be contaminated by solid, liquid, or gaseous substance and elements, which affect the lives of living beings that depend on it. The most common chemicals that pollute the soil is the petroleum products, the solvents, the radioactive waste, the pesticides and heavy metals, and plastic are also an important contaminant because they biodegrade very slowly and during this process are released harmful to the ground and the atmosphere. Some example of soil pollution, a massive landfill near Quezon City in Philippines was the site of land pollution tragedy in 2000. Hundreds of people live on the slopes of the Quezon City landfill. These people made their living from recycle and selling items found in the landfill. However, the landfill was not secure. Heavy rains caused a trash landslide, killing 218 people. And some communities do not have adequate garbage collection systems and trash lines the side of roads. In other places, garbage washes up on beaches. Camilo Beach in the USA, state of Hawaii is littered with plastic bags and bottles carried in by the tide.
Hi, my name is Barbara, and I'm going to talk about the implications, effects, and impact that contaminated soil has in our life, not only in the human, but also in the plants, in the environment, and in animals. As a first victim, we have that the plants that are grown in lightly polluted soil continuously absorb molecules of the pollutants, causing higher amounts of pollution to exist in the plant in the soil. So the plant absorbs the contaminants that are in the soil, even if it's minimum, they are contaminants, so it affects the plant. Secondly, we have the animals who eat polluted plants that absorb all the pollutants that are in the soil, and we can see that their metabolism is destroyed or is affected by the pollution they are absorbing from the plant. And talking about the larger animals who eat the plant eating animals, take on all the pollution from the animals they eat. So it's like a chain. We have now the plant, we have the animal that eats plants, and we have the animal that eats this animal. So it's like a chain, and the pollution is passing one by one animal. So imagine all the contamination that has been passing by organism comes to us, the humans, because we eat plants and we eat animals. So if we eat an animal or plant that may be poisoned, it can be very dangerous for us and our organism. So the presence of heavy metals in soil in toxic amounts can be bad for our body, as well as lead and mercury in soil. We have to be careful with those things, with not eating, not consuming those things, because it can give us problems in our body. And there are some pollutants that cause the development of cancer. Neuromuscular blockage, depression of the central nervous system, headaches, nausea, fatigue, eye irritation, and skin rash. We have to remember that cancer doesn't have a cure, so we have to be careful with those things, with not eating them constantly, because they are really bad for our body. With those things, we can see that we don't need a highly contaminated soil to be harmful for our organisms, including us, the humans.
Hi, I am Javier and I'll explain our proposed solutions. To all those consequences that are part of the effects on this side of pollution, we must act now. Some solutions have been proposed to reduce this problem that affects biospheres around the world, from our house or even basic actions. First, education and awareness of this situation, because bad awareness only makes this problem bigger. Then, waste. Waste that we produce must be properly separated for a successful recycle, with specific containers. A real solution that all people that live here should do it, because in Monterrey, Ruta Ambiental is a special truck for recyclable material that for 6 years it had passed in the neighborhoods of the city, like the garbage truck with specific hours, but for recycling. But Monterrey is not the whole state of Nuevo León, so some opportunities cannot be possible. For that reason, if we cannot find an use after the use of an object, we need to analyze before use or buy it. For example, plastic bags, those that we use in fruits and vegetables, things very packed, and single-use plastics. Simple actions like no littering on the street, in the city, and obviously in forests or hills. Another, promote the use of clean transports that do not spill oil or soil the ground, such as bicycles. And finally, promote everybody to carry their own bag to save the garbage we produce, until we get home and put it in the place that is correct, among other alternatives that can help, not only to reduce the soil pollution, but the water and atmosphere as well.
And well, as we have already mentioned in this work, our planet suffers of pollution. And unfortunately, the great part of it was caused by us, humans. That's why the governments around the world are making efforts to combat this problem. But reducing environmental pollution requires political and economic leadership. That way, developed countries must work to reduce and recycle their materials, while undeveloped countries must work to strengthen their economy without destroying the environment. And we, as a society, we can also help and take care of our planet in our own way, no matter how little or change it is. And well, that was Team 3 with the topic of pollution. I wish you like it and thank you for your attention.